This is the Blaze the Lion podcast. We are now live on YouTube on the Blaze the Lion podcast channel, as well as on Facebook on the Blaze the Lion podcast page. Indeed. You loving the movement? You love what we are doing? You can always support anchor.fm/Blaze the Lion/support. And we got 3 tiers right there: $1, $5, and $10. You know the deal, you know the drill. Support, get down with the movement because we need you, or rather, you need us. Either one, pick one. Indeed. And with all that said, I'm going to take a back seat. Holler at y'all later.
Hi guys. I'm Brandon Todd. I'm going to be the host for tonight's episode 89, talking about demons relationships, masculine versus feminine energy. And before we went live, I actually told one of the guests that I'm going to be learning tonight because I see this and I think one thing, but it's not about me. It's about these distinguished people to my right. Well, no, I guess left, right. That's going to tell you a little bit about masculine and feminine energy, and what a fitting time as it is Valentine's Day. So, okay. Well, we already have.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. So 2 goes for Valentine's. I don't know if the people in the audience like that, but regardless, we're going to get a good perspective of masculine and feminine energy. And before we continue, let me introduce myself. My name is Brandon Todd. I have been on the podcast, I want to say this is my 4th time. I've been on as a guest. I've been on as a co-host. I've been on as a panelist. And now I've taken the reins of being the host. And who knows? You might see me more, or this might be my last time that my cousin says, you're done. For those that don't, Blaze Tari is my cousin. I've known him all my life. No, because he's related to me. Not too much else about me. I am a senior manager for a beverage company. I've been doing that been in the beverage industry for about 15 years. And if you want to know what I'm all about, you can follow me right here at BCT1011. Yeah, but you see, like BCT1011. Do we got like arrows and animation that could?
You got to pay for that, bro.
Oh, okay. Well, shoot. After this pod, you might lose some subscribers. But anyways, if y'all want to, donate $9.99 so we can get some animation. Anyways, this is enough about me. I'm going to turn it over to my guest. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to start with Tomiko. So, Tomiko, if you want to introduce yourself or introduce your partner.
Wrong way. Okay.
You can.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tomiko Chambers. I am the owner of Starchild Social. I have also been on the pod a couple of times. And that guy there, that king right there is my man. Yes. So I'm going to let him introduce himself because I know he's going to go on for about 5 minutes or so. But go ahead, baby.
All right. You all know who I am. If you don't know, Google me, bro. We out here. You know the name. Today, as Brandon mentioned, this is all about relationships, masculine and feminine. And a little bit about myself is I am Blaze Tari. Thank you.
Okay. If I know my cousin like I know my cousin, you'll know more about him than he knows about himself by the end of the pod. But you know what? I guess he'd be a little shy with the intro. So let's just get right to it. And I'm going to start with the lovely Tomiko. And I want you to tell me, what is masculine and feminine energy to you?
That's a really good question.
I know.
I know you just made it off the top of your head. You just got it off the top of your head. Masculine and feminine energy. I definitely think they are two halves of a whole, for sure.
Mhm.
And regardless of how you identify, what you call yourself on a Monday to a Tuesday, you definitely carry both. So I identify and I am a woman. However, I do know that I have male and female energy within me, for sure. I do tend to see both to be strong, for sure, but in different ways. Emotional strength, even though I know some people like to think that women are just over emotional all the time or whatever, but we do carry our emotions very, very deep, and we are very strong in that way. Masculine, it tends to be more methodical, more, I was going to say direct, but then there are a lot of women I know that can be direct too. I think there's definite strength in both, but they both can be very, very different at the same time.
I like that. So you said there are two halves to a whole. So do you feel like some people carry more masculine energy than feminine, or you think at the end of the day there's some type of balance? And everybody's different, but for the most part, what do you think?
I think that goes into identity and what the person identifies as. I know some men who would consider themselves manly men and masculine and whatever, but I can definitely see a feminine side in them. And that doesn't mean that they're weak. And I know that's like the stigma that's attached to it.
Right.
But there are a lot of men who are emotionally intelligent, which is actually very attractive to women, in my opinion. When they're emotionally intelligent like that, there is a lot more of their feminine energy that they're drawing on.
I understand.
Do you see what I mean? But they would still identify as this manly man. I think because, again, the stigma and how they identify and what they hang their identity on, it can get a bit misconstrued.
Love that. It's a great perspective, because oftentimes you feel like if you identify with your feminine side as a male, right? And again, this is not for everybody, but sometimes you're like, oh no, people are going to think I'm too feminine or this, that. But
You're a bottom.
oh my
God. No, that's what that's what the label. Okay. What Davey's saying. All right, I'm gonna just.
So, anyways,
you call on me,
Blaze Octari. I just remember this is live, so it's like, yo, can we okay, so we can't. So with that said,
we can't. It is.
I think Blaze should take the floor. So Blaze,
explain yourself with an H.
If you want to explain yourself, you can. If you want to move on and just answer the question, you can also do that, right? This is your platform. So please, what is masculine and feminine energy to you?
Sure. So for the record, I wasn't calling my host that term of endearment, right? I was chiming in that some men who carry, or you see in public, their feminine energy, it doesn't mean that they're acting feminine, right? So I was just being funny. Enough about explaining myself. The masculine and feminine energy, I see it as the masculine energy is dominance, is leadership. And the feminine energy is submissive.
Can you expound on that? Because
please do.
There might be some people that say submissive makes people look weak, dominant makes it stronger. So please expound on that, if you will.
Indeed. I'm just having fun with it. So it's balance, as you mentioned, and balance looks different for everybody, right? What seems balanced for you may not appeal to my view of balance. So when you hear masculine energy, I mean, most people think of a male or manly, but I do believe that it is being able to lead. It is being direct and many times dominant. And you see both men and women exhibit the same trait. You may see women who weren't raised, with that male figure in their life,
Mm.
or the women who have their 2 kids or their 3 kids and they have no help, so they have to play mother and father, right? Or the woman who has been hurt repeatedly, so she has that chip on her shoulder. Not that she's per se bitter or always angry, but she had to, over the years, lead and be the provider and do whatever she needed to do. And then on the flip side, you may see the man who might be over analytical, or may be a little emotional, or may just be the nurturer, maybe the one that listens, right? And takes the back seat, maybe the one that shows his or her like support, right? So everyone has both masculine and feminine. There's no one on earth who is just one. It's the yin and the yang. It's the night and day. It's the sun and the moon, right? So we all exhibit both in certain, in all areas of our life. And, again, for our circumstances, for how we were raised, our perspective, the cards that life just hands us,
Yeah.
many times that determines which side we put out there in, I guess, like in the forefront.
I love that. And I think what I'm hearing that you, and you kind of already said it, in both Tamiko and Blaze, like, it's our experiences, right? It's what we're going through in life that maybe lends itself to showing more masculine or more feminine energy, but we all have it, right? And it's there's not one that's better than the other. It's just what the situation is that maybe calls for one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was very interesting. I like that. Okay. Let's start with Blaze on this one. What attracted you more to Tamiko? Was it their feminine, her feminine? Was it her masculine energy? Was it both? And I want a specific example of why. Please.
Sure. What drew me to Tamiko was the way that she dribbled the ball.
I mean, you knew that something was coming, right? Like, I mean,
Her ball handling skills.
Okay.
Can I take back the question, Tamiko? So, what attracted? Oh man.
Are you done?
Would
Are
like
you done?
The question again, or
I
you
don't think I'm
think you got? I can ask the question again, just so
Yes.
you know.
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. Blaze, what attracted you more to Tamiko? Was it her feminine, her masculine energy, or both? And please, specific examples, plural.
Mhm.
I'm sure there's multiple things that attracted you to her.
Yeah, they are going wild in the comments.
I can see that.
So for me, I would actually say a mixture of both, a fusion of both. I was attracted to her the first time I saw her, which was on Zoom.
Hmm.
To be honest, it was on this virtual platform, and I saw both sides during the hour meeting. I saw both her masculine and her feminine energy. How, you may ask? I saw her masculine energy where she was asked a question and she was expected to give a 1 to 2 minute speech answering that question. And she was polished, she was precise, she and even though it was a impromptu, she had no idea that this was coming. She impressed me. She was well spoken. She handled business. She looked confident. She looked fearless. And I said, "But damn, okay now." in the same token, I also noticed her feminine energy because she wasn't all in the camera. Hey, it's all about me. You know what I mean? Like when she was called upon, she executed,
Mm.
right? And I was just able to see both sides, which intrigued me to stalk her a little bit.
Oh.
Um, don't
Good.
you know? I had to hunt as the man. I threw my hunting skills, and after about 2 days of hunting, you know what I mean?
That's it?
Wait.
You know what I mean?
Hold up.
Only 2. That's a record.
I don't play, bruh.
Wow.
Really?
um.
That's how it went down?
Yeah, it went down in the DMs.
Oh. Okay.
And I did the stalking and I found her on social media. This is
Yeah, you
true.
did. You did
Yeah.
stalk me.
See,
That is
I
true.
I found her website. I did some research. Went to her website. Didn't see no man on the website. Found her on Facebook. Ain't really see no man in the recent pictures. Went to her Instagram. Still ain't see. I was like, all right, but that
You
don't
did
mean
all of that?
anything. Yeah, this is
Wow.
all within the first day. As a hunter,
Mhm.
I know how to kill my prey. All right, facts.
Your masculine energy came out, and that's how you got.
You smell me.
Yo, hey, men or females, take notes. But going back to the original question, you saw both of that exhibited, and it's interesting that it was through Zoom. I mean, that was kind of the time we were living in, even so
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But that still came out, right? You were still able to see her true self.
Mm-hmm.
And within that hour, both her masculine and feminine energy, you're like, I want that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So my message to the ladies, all right,
Mm.
all the single ladies out here,
mm,
all right, you're looking for that man and you can't find that man, and you go into the grocery store and you can't find that man because you go into the grocery store in your bedroom slippers. But moving on,
ooh, man.
that part, we can't tell if you just rolled out of bed or you've been up for 8 hours, right? So
Oof.
you want to put your best foot forward, right? But for all the single ladies out here, if you get the opportunity to be on a virtual platform, right? Podcast or Zoom meeting or whatever, right? Take advantage of this platform. So show your face.
Wow.
Look presentable. Stop hiding behind the black screen and just using the audio. Like let the man, because as you can see, just on a Zoom platform, right? Now I'm not able to reach out and touch her. I was able to see exactly what I wanted.
Wow. Wow.
You know what I mean? So be ready. Don't attend these Zoom meetings and you hiding behind because you ain't like get ready, look presentable. You know?
Because you never know.
Yeah, you just never know. You know?
I mean, the shorts or the undergarment and the that could be rough, right? Because we just need waist up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
That is
facts.
true.
You can throw on, you know what I'm saying, like your Barney boxers or whatever you got. Just make sure, just make sure from the waist up, you know what I mean? That's yeah. Yeah. Turn your webcam on. Exactly.
All
So
right.
I feel
Well,
I'm gonna get cussed
Tamiko,
out after this pod.
I don't know how you're gonna follow that up, but
I've
You-
been plotting because there are certain things that I could say, but I do value my relationships. So I'm not going to say them. I'll
You
say them off.
smart.
let's keep it positive just for
I'll
this
say,
question.
I'll say them
So-
off camera.
Please.
But what attracted me first actually was his masculine energy. And I was going to bring up the same example of when we first met. We didn't meet in person until a few days later. But first of all, I wasn't looking for anybody. I was just really kind of like set in what I was doing, and that was it. And I wasn't looking for anybody. And I was invited by, shout out to Mr. Moore. I was invited by Mr. Moore to the meeting. And as soon as the camera turned, as soon as I went into the Zoom room or whatever, I was immediately drawn to him. I do think he was talking at the time though, but I believe, did you do table topics? Is that how that happened?
I was table topics master.
Yeah. So he was controlling that part of the meeting, and I was absolutely just drawn to him. And it was so weird for me. I was like, what is this feeling? Like, I don't even know what this is.
Wow.
But that definitely was masculine. And then he stalked me. And then we spoke on the phone for like, I think the first time we spoke on the phone was like 4 hours or something crazy.
3 hours.
And-
3 hours.
Wait.
Oh, I'm
People
sorry.
still talk on the phone?
3
And y'all
hours.
spoke that long?
We spoke on the phone for that long. And
That was the
You
first
know.
day still.
that was the first day. That was the first day.
Mhm.
Because he called me on some, okay, yeah, well, we're Toastmasters, let me help you get into Toastmasters. Slick. Anyway, we end up on the phone for this.
It worked.
Oh, wait, hold on. You can't just go over that. Like, so that was your line was, let me help you get into Toastmasters, but really you're like, I want to holler at you. But
I think the message was, you did really good today in Toastmasters or something like that. Something along those lines.
okay.
If I may interject, I wasn't just using Toastmasters. I was actually the VP of PR, public relationships. See that?
Okay.
Public relationships. When further down the line, I'm still in Toastmasters, and I do know that it's actually supposed to be the VP of membership that's supposed to reach out to you, but he took his.
But he didn't. Did he? Did he not? He didn't.
Blaze, you got her now. It's okay. It's okay. You got her, dog. Like, it's like he's still mad at the dude. Like, well, he did it, and I stepped in. And it's cool, man.
I was just doing my job.
That's all.
So there was like, obviously there was a lot of talking, but I really like to feel somebody's energy in person because you can say anything. Do you know what I mean?
Love that.
And later that week, our first date, can we call that a date? That was our first date. We actually went to the beach to meditate at like 6 something in the morning to watch the sun. Yeah. So it's not a normal, like, go out to dinner, get drunk. No, it's none of that. We were going to sit there and meditate and blah, blah, blah. And that's where I started to see the feminine energy come in.
I love that. See, because I was going to ask this question, but before, let me make this comment. It's, Blaze, you saw Tamiko's feminine and masculine energy on the Zoom. She saw your masculine, but you didn't quite, and maybe, you just weren't in that space to be able to show your feminine energy maybe, but then it eventually came out. And so I guess my question is, were you hoping that's what you would get? And like, did the expectations of what you thought it was going to be like meet what it was when you met in person, right? Because a lot of people, they do this, but then when they meet in person, it's different. It's like, oh, this is who they really are. So what did it exceed your expectation? Did it meet it? Did it lower it? But you're like, we're here. Why not? Like, I'll leave that to whoever wants to answer that first.
We're like, he'll do.
I ain't really got nothing else going on, so why not?
We're here. Got nothing else to do. Let's just meditate for a bit. I was actually shell-shocked by the whole experience in the beginning. So one thing I will say about Blaze is he's been sometimes overly honest. Mm-hmm. We spoke about that the other day, but like overly honest with things, which is great though, right? It's absolutely wonderful. But for me, it was like, well, I was taken back because you don't normally get that. It's normally a lot of kind of, what's the saying? Cloak and dagger type. You know what I mean? Like, wait, mm-hmm. Yeah. So you don't really see or you hear half truths or whatever. Mm-hmm. To the point where there have been times where I'm like, I don't need to know anymore. All right, we're good. Like I got it. But I appreciate it all the same. So I think in the beginning, I remember speaking to a couple of people about him and just like, I have no idea where this person came from, just out of nowhere. And here we are. So I would say exceeded my expectations because of my history. I wasn't expecting that much.
Huh. Wow. Blaze, how do you top that?
I don't.
No.
What was the question again?
I said, you obviously the attraction was there when you met her on Zoom, but when you met in person, right? Like you already have this, I guess, this vision of what this person can be, but it's very different from the virtual to the actual in-person meetup. And so, did it exceed, meet? This will stop there. Like, come on. If expectation, you probably wouldn't be together. So, like, it either met it or exceeded it, and why?
So, can we be real?
I mean, that's why we're here, right? It's not like anybody else is watching. It's just us three, right?
There is nobody else.
It's a safe space. All right.
This is a safe space.
Says the 32 countries.
Over thousands of people that tuned in anyway.
I feel like this episode will be butchered into clips.
Oh yeah,
heavily edited.
Yeah, that will hinder me sometime in the future. Nonetheless, hey, I'm here for it though. So just to be brutally honest, when I first met Tomiko in person, I don't know if I would say it didn't meet my expectations or exceeded. I just think I wasn't expecting, and the reason why I'm saying that is because in the beginning, and she'll tell you, and right now she might be annoyed at where I'm going with this. I don't know, but we're being transparent.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, so when I first met Tomiko, the first couple months, she wore really big clothes, and it used to piss me off. Like, why the hell are you wearing like men's medium and men's large? And I don't understand. Like, you're not big. Like, you're not. So, and then over time, she explained to me, why and just what she went through. So I was respectful, but it used to burn me inside. I hated it. Until eventually I was like, hey, here are some outfits. I would love to go shopping with you. And she's like, really? A man? You wouldn't rush me? No. I would love to go shop. And I guess over time, so eventually, I saw the big clothes less and less. And then she started putting in hard work in the gym, saw some great results. Her body started changing and then now she wears our size. So,
Was it by chance that she was going to more of your classes when you were teaching, or?
Listen, I said the other day, this is the longest I've been, and the most consistent that I've been attending a gym ever.
That's what's up
in my life.
That's what's up. So,
if that's what it takes, then I'm here for it. That's fine.
Girls, find you a trainer.
No, don't do that, because there's a lot that comes with it. And if you're not ready, okay. What I'm saying is, I think I've said this on like every time I've been on this podcast.
No, but remind people, please.
Blaze is a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
He sees fine women all day, every day, twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. Really. Huh. And I guess because he's there a lot, connections happen. If you're picking up what I'm putting down.
All right.
no. But seriously, but with somebody like him, there's just a lot of women that are either flocking around him, or you can just see them trying to ting and whatever. So if you're not secure up here, it can play with you. If you're jealous, if you're whatever, it can really mess with you. So it's making sure that you're confident in your relationship and who you're. I say, I don't own him, so it's not like, I might joke around and be like, oh, it's my man, but I don't own him, so I don't control him. He does what he does. That's on him. So I can't drive myself crazy thinking, oh, what's he doing, or is he? I can't do that. But I just know that with his job comes a lot of temptation and and then women just try their thing and blah blah blah. It's just what it is.
At the end of the day, it's not about them, right? Like it's about
him. Exactly. So it's no one, like I see them. It's not like I'm like, oh, that be, no, I'm too tired for that. I've got kids. I'm responsibilities. Like I don't, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, you do what you're doing.
That's it.
That's your responsibility, and that's it.
That's it. Trust.
Yeah.
I'm about to move on to another question. I feel like you would like to add, or are you good, Blaze? Okay. Maybe you want to add some commentary to that, or
I'm going to walk in my feminine energy and just listen.
Smart man. Now, this question actually might be like, I was like, oh damn, what a time to ask this question. So this can go either way. Blaze, I'm gonna start with you on this. How has your energy changed since being with Tamika?
That is a great question. I have learned a whole lot about Tamika, and I've learned a whole lot about myself being with Tamika, because who was it? Was it last week? It was last episode, right? Last week, episode 88 with Grace, and she mentioned, how are you really able to heal by yourself? How are you really able to know that all the work you've been putting into your healing journey and maturing, how are you able to know if it's really working if you're by yourself? You don't know it's working until you get into a relationship, right? So all this soul searching and me turning vegan and looking at the government and the system and all these things differently, and my family and friends and everyone around me seeing the change, right? And I'm more zen and all this. If I jump into a relationship and I was the same dude from my past relationships, all that was fugazi, all that was fake.
Yeah.
So this was a test. Like, all right, so now what are you going to do? Are you going to channel the old Blaze and respond how you used to respond? Or are you know what I mean? So it really checked me. And it wasn't even her saying, well, I expect this, and that, or whatever. It was just me realizing, like, man, I still have some areas about me that is still kind of selfish. And though I've grown and I tend to put women and put other people first, every now and then my ego still hangs around, you know what I mean? And just I was able to, and I'm still learning, right, how to be a dad, how to be a parent. And yes, I have a son, and Tamika has 2 daughters. So being in that environment and just being able to pivot and just shift, and kids are honest, right? So many times if they don't like you, or if they pick up a vibe that maybe their parent doesn't pick up because their parent got on the love glasses, right? They don't see the red flags, right? But the child can.
Yes.
Right? So making that first impression with her children, and the first impressions with her family and her friends, and and such. That was a real test. So I was really able to see what things I really grew in and what things I still need some work at. Right? It's a journey out here.
That's it.
Yeah.
But to me, you took the unselfish approach, right? It was not about what you're going to get out of it. It's like, how can I make this work, right? And what steps do I need to take? And her two daughters are a very important part of her life to start there. And so, you better put that smile on and, at least have some good energy or something, right? To make them feel you. Because if you weren't able to connect with them, chances are this probably couldn't work, right? Like,
Facts.
you can ignore it, but only for so long,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, yeah, we're always going to be a work in progress, right? Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you took that approach going into a relationship, because a lot of people are like, all right, bet, what am I going to get out of this? Okay, this is what I bring to the table. What you going to bring to the table? And it's like, whoa, like, yeah, this is what you bring to the table, but like, also, what can I do to nurture this relationship and make the best of it for both of us? And I think that's a lot of times, and I don't want to, get into this, but it seems like a lot of relationships go this way because it's me versus you rather than me and you.
Mm-hmm. And I will add this to it. My past relationships. So I want to say shout out to my exes, because if I didn't go through my past relationships, Tamiko and I would not have lasted.
Wow.
So it's what I went through. It's those issues and those obstacles and those lessons that I saw come up in this. And I'm like, I remember this in 2012 or 2009 or 2014. And I remember years. I don't remember days, but years I got you. But I had to go through all those past experiences.
Right.
I had to go through all those past
Just
experiences.
keep it on one hand, bro.
You see that I stopped at 5, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right. We don't need to, you know what I mean? Just
Lord.
he over here counting toes and no, let me stop.
But yeah, so men and women, sometimes they get concerned and they get upset. Like, man, I've gone through all these relationships, and when am I gonna find the one? And I've kissed all these frogs, or whatever. And we have to go through that. We're not in the era anymore where, well, no, let me rephrase that. Most of us, especially here in America, right, where we no longer move in the whole from age 13 or from age 10, you already know who your spouse is going to be. You know what I mean? So we meet people, we go through school and we go through jobs and different work and different environments and different cities or whatever, and we meet people and we grow. And you need to go through those experiences, and you need to learn from all those experiences. If you're coming out of those experiences always being the victim, and it's always that person's fault, even though they got some toxic ways, guaranteed. But guess what? So do you, right? So do I. So after every relationship, whether it was 1 month or years, whatever, I had to learn and process. So it took all of that for me to appreciate the woman that you see right here.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. Hey, come on now. Put some clapping emojis in the comments. Let's go. Yeah. I mean,
Right, so
one thing I'll add, and then I'm going to ask the same question to Tamiko, is you met her at the right time too. Because had you have met her 5-6 years ago, maybe you wouldn't have had that mindset. And maybe this. So sometimes you're like, man, I wish I would. No, you met her at the time you're supposed to meet her.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's, whether mentally more mature or like whatever's going on. And so, for me, that's, how I feel, right? It's like, because I've only had like 2 girlfriends, right? And so like, my what I've learned from them, don't get back up, but I learned from them is gonna set me up for my queen. Yeah, I'm just gonna
Wait, I'm
stop.
sorry. Wait, my headphones. I think my headphones are glitching. You said what now?
Is this thing on? Is this thing on?
Hello?
Tamika, I'm just gonna go to you now, girl. Okay, so how has your energy changed since being in a relationship with Blaze?
Good question. First of all, I think if we met 10 years ago or so, I think we would have killed each other, to be quite honest. But honestly, like we've spoken about it, like kind of how we were and then and where our headspace was then individually, I think we would have killed each other. So yay us. And when I check it, the mad thing is that, and for those of you who don't know, I actually know Brandon's mum and dad.
That is facts.
Which is Blaze's uncle and aunt. So, and I used to be at the house like every week and stuff like that. So it's crazy that, it's kind of come full circle like this, because we could have had a chance to have met. Anyway, just throwing that
You
out
weren't
there.
ready though.
I wasn't ready.
You weren't ready either. No, you weren't ready.
Hold up.
Sorry.
Hold up. I wasn't ready.
What then? Nah, he wasn't ready.
Sure.
Oh my God.
What?
As the host, I demand y'all stop, because you see, this is gonna be some positive energy coming out of Tamika right now. She might flip this, right? So
the masculine energy is about to come out right quick.
Yeah, when that UK accent, that's when I usually pause. I'm like, oh.
I demand you to mute yourself, Blaze. Can I do that? Can I mute you? Like, is that? Oh my God. Anyway,
right. Let me just bring myself back.
That's your energy change since
me burn
not like right now. I mean, the energy that you were feeling before that comment.
I would say I met him at a point of me doing some healing, not all, but some healing. And I agree with what Grace was saying last week, actually, about, when you're in a partnership with somebody, and I think we've both experienced enough where, it's not going to be a bunch of cussing out and throwing things, and it's just not like, it's just not going to be that. We can discuss stuff, we can disagree, we will piss each other off, but it's not gonna, we need to be mature about this. You know what I mean? Again, I don't have time for all of that at all. But I've definitely matured since being in this relationship. He's triggered me quite a bit. But the beauty, who knew? There's a lot of people going, I did.
Put your hands down in the chat, damn it.
Don't you dare comment, people. Keep your comments to yourself. Ain't nobody asked for your comments in the chat.
But what I love is that because of where he's at in his journey, we're able to, so if I recognize it, sometimes he does have to call me out as I do him. But if I recognize it, he will hold space and be graceful enough for us to like talk it out. This is why I was triggered. This is what it was, blah, blah, blah. That's not to say he's always right, I'm always wrong with me. Nothing like that. It's just having, again, that maturity of being able to have a conversation. Sometimes we're seeing things completely different. A comment that he said or a comment that I said, he might get might trigger him for something. And it's about talking about that and seeing what's the root of that instead of just going off the surface. And that way you really learn more about the person as well, and yes, it can either draw you closer or it can push you apart a bit, but really learning that person, really, again, just being mature about it. So I would say I've definitely matured in this relationship. I've been able to explore more of my female energy too, my feminine
Mm.
energy too.
Mm.
Because he, I was about to say allows me to do that, but he's very traditional in certain ways. Hey, what's up, Greg?
That's my brother, y'all.
Shout out to Greg Todd.
GT.
Smart Success Healthcare.
Oh wow, shameless plug. He told you to do that?
No, but
Go to put that website up there.
Greg, all right,
Yeah,
Greg,
go
you
ahead and
can
put that website. Anyway, sorry.
you can pay me later, Greg. But no, but so I think he likes to do what I would call some traditional things, right? So opening the door and, you know, I don't know, just some traditional male thing, masculine things that I can only say traditional because, yeah. So it's allowed me to kind of explore more of my feminine energy, and I really love that too, as well.
Chivalry's not dead. Shout out to you, Blaze, for holding it down for us. I don't need no comment after that. All right, just take the compliment, okay, and just be humble. But Tamika, I appreciate your honesty. Look, we don't gotta have a lot of time. I have a few more questions. I'm gonna kind of switch it up a little bit. I like to keep people on their toes. What I do, and Tamika, I'm gonna start with you on this one. And you can answer this anyway because there's many ways you can go with this. But how important are zodiac signs? And not in a general sense, right? It's more in a relationship because
She about to go in the bag now, bro.
I'll just preface this by saying, I mean, me, like if I'm on Instagram, I'll see he's a Leo and Leos, and I'm not gonna even because I don't really know what signs compatible with what, but it's like, and I'll see some jokes, right? Some TikToks even that's like the girl's like, oh, what are you? Libra. Oh my God, I'm so connected to you, Libra. It's like, well, guess what? I'm a Gemini. So you know what I'm saying? And they're flipping up on them. So it's like, is it really that? I don't know if crucial is the right word, but do you see that really being a make or break for a relationship, depending on your zodiac sign? So I'll let you go from there, but please.
I mean, typically, all right. So first of all, I'm a cusp baby, so I'm Gemini and Cancer, which is just it's very confused. It's a very confused combination of signs to have. But okay, thank you. No, but it is, and I know that, and so that's cool. Know thyself. But I will say that, of course, everybody is different. They're all individual. I get it. But you do tend to see, for the most part, the time you were born, the day you were born, the month you were born affects your energy and how you deal with certain things. It does go a lot deeper than that, which we don't really have time for. But for instance, there are some characteristics about Blaze that are very Libran.
I'm sorry.
Like what?
I've never heard it like that before. Libran. Let me write that down. Please expound, because I'm a Libra too, so I'm trying to see if I'm Libran as well.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
So you got me here, right? Let's go. I'm all ears.
Librans. Okay. They're very, very indecisive. Does that ring a bell with anyone?
Continue.
God. I'm trying to be very careful about what I say, but they are very indecisive. They do like to see justice in situations, which is why their symbol is the scales. What was it? Okay. They tend to have, actually, because of their energy as well, they tend to have a lot of know a lot of females. I don't necessarily mean in that particular way, but they just tend to have a lot of female friends.
Okay.
Brandon?
I feel attacked, but just keep going. just keep going. Just keep going.
They do crave loyalty and respect. And I know everybody's like, oh no, I want to be respected too. I get it, but that's something that's very like high up on the list. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna leave it there for now.
Okay.
Yes, but anyway, so yes, Blaze is very Libran, but his moon sign is Virgo. For reference, Beyonce is a Virgo. And but I don't know, some people have heard about Beyonce and how she can be quite anal about certain things and everything needs to be, just so. Yeah. So there's that too.
So
yeah.
Okay. And it's a quick follow-up and then Blaze, is that a make or break? Right? That Libran sounds like he got some things to work through. But the Virgo moon sign is like, I'm attracted to that. So if he was something different that wasn't compatible, so to speak, with you, would that be a make or break? Or would you say, despite being these signs, I'm going to see you for who you are?
But that could make up a lot of who they are as well. So it's not like I meet somebody and I'm like, I know that's like the corny line, right? What's your name? What's your sign or whatever? But it does tend to play into it a lot. And you do end up, and this can be good or bad, depending on who you're attracting. But you do tend to attract a lot of the same signs or around the same signs, or maybe they're fire signs. And it's just what your energy is attracting as well. So it really does depend.
Love that.
Is it a make or break? If you're sitting there studying the charts and all the rest of it, then I don't think you would get very far with anyone, to be honest with you, because you do have to take into account what that person has also been through, what their life has been like, and what kind of character they are, and how they identify. That all plays into it as well. But you do tend to see a lot of traits from astrology, the astrological signs.
I appreciate the honesty and insight, Tomiko.
You're very welcome.
Blaze, let me stretch out a little bit for this one. Same question. How important are zodiac signs?
All right. So this is the part of the pod where if you're having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99. Okay.
We know the rest. Please. As you were.
Hit me. So I am into astrology. I am into numerology. And if we're talking about our sun signs, so for Libras and for Cancers, there's not a plethora of, you guys are super compatible.
Yeah.
Right? Relationships take work. Right? It's as they say, love is a decision. It's not a feeling. Right? So with that said, we're also complex beings, right? We're not just, oh, I'm a Libra, you're a Cancer, that's it, right? So I'm the air and the earth, and then my alter ego or whatever, the blaze, how I am at work is more of a fire sign. So it's like air, earth, fire. That's a whole lot.
Yeah.
That's why you need some water to calm yourself down.
Hooey!
Right. So as I was getting to that, Miss Water.
Can we use some water emojis in the chat? Can we see some? Wait.
Can we have some teardrops in the chat?
No.
So air sign as my purpose is to impact lives. So if you think of air, right, as air travels, if you think of a hurricane, there's a course, it's a path, and the hurricane affects each person or each being or each circumstance in its path, right? That's air, right? And then you think about the earth, right? Maybe emotional, the nurturer, the one who listens, uh, right? Air. And then you think about the fire. Like if you've been to my classes, then you know, like there's no time to play. Like direct, blunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, let's go. Are you here to play? Why are you on your phone? Why are you? You know what I mean? 10 more burpees. Let's go. No, not later. Right now. Right. So all of that, and you get me right. Okay, Mr. Perfect. And then you gotta, and then you gotta. I mean, she just left though.
Tamiko has left the building.
Tamiko has exited the chat.
She's like going at the camera, rolling her eyes like this.
Okay.
The comments. I muted myself as well, just so you can hear the comments. And the kiss teeth that's happening on the side of the camera. But yes, go ahead. I love you, baby.
I know. And,
I'm sorry.
and then you take someone like Tamiko and you take the water, right? Which is emotional, but it's also depth, right? Meaning you think about the ocean, the depths of the ocean, very, very deep, not on surface, very, very deep. And then you also think about air, where she has the power to also impact people. So wherever she goes, she may not be the loud fire, like me, but her energy, she doesn't have to speak and bring attention. Her energy attracts that attention. So which I tell her all the time, that whatever mood she's in, that's the mood the household or the car is in.
Wow.
Right? It's just very powerful energy. So her also being air, she influences and she impacts everything in her path.
Wow.
So it's a lot. It's a lot to uncover. And sometimes we're there with our phones and we're like, well, my horoscope says blah, blah, blah. So we got to be careful on this. And then she'll look at hers and it's like, well, okay, well, communication. And, we go back and forth. So, yes, we do base a lot. And I don't really want to say a lot, but we do base some on the zodiac signs, yes. But in anything, any relationship is also work, right? There's a decision because every day she talks to me, excuse me, I may not be the knight in shining armor all the time. I may not be the lion with the wonderful full mane all the time.
Jesus.
Right? Right? So, yes. So make that decision, find the person that you love, and be committed through sickness and health, through the ups, through the downs, through the abs, through the chichos, through the injuries. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I love that. I love that. I love that. We're gonna wrap it up soon, but I think this is gonna kind of add and build on what you guys just said about the signs. And I want you to be as direct and concise as possible with this. Blaze, what has Tamiko taught you? And I'm gonna just make this a two-part question. What is she better than you at? Breathe.
She's taught me easy. She's taught me a lot about social media, and she's better than me in social media.
No, come on.
That is such a cop out. Oh my God.
Such a cop out. What is that, man?
That's my final answer.
Okay. Hey, if that's what you want, you gonna have to deal with that after the pod. So
You better phone a friend, my friend. It's time for you to phone a friend.
Smoke tonight, man. No pun, Blaze. Like what? Okay, cool. Tamiko, we just gonna go right to you. And you can answer this any way you want. Just because of that answer, any way you want to take this. What has Blaze taught you, and what is he better than you at?
I'm gonna take this. Sir, why are you looking at me like that? I would say that on a more serious note, I am better than him at social media. Check it out, starchildsocial.com. But anyway, that shout out to Greg again for encouraging me to.
At this point, it's not even shameless plug. It's just a plug.
There's no shame in it. There is no shame in it whatsoever. But I would say that he has definitely taught me, as a Cancerian, as a moody Cancerian, let's call it what it is. I can definitely find myself in like this has gone wrong. That's it. I'm done. I'm done for. And so he's definitely taught me how to look at things on a brighter side, even if that annoys me sometimes, because he can be and this is what he's better at than me, shining a light on things.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So, but it annoys me sometimes. He will tell you that as well. So sometimes I'm like,
sometimes.
Oh wow. But I'll be in it.
Sometimes, Blaze. Let's not go there. Tamiko, please continue.
Say something. Say something. But no, but seriously, I can get down in the dumps about certain things or whatever, and he'll be like, you can do it, it's fine, it's great, and I'm just like, shut up, I'm trying to express myself. And he's like, no, you can. Which ultimately, yes, he is right. I can overcome anything. I just like to be miserable about it for a little bit. If you don't mind, I just like to get out my system.
It's all right.
Yeah, let my human side come out. So yeah, that's what I would say that I've learned, and that's what he's better at.
Okay.
Yeah. Say something.
So,
you know what? Let me just leave room for you to go ahead and comment. But go ahead, go right ahead.
So to expound a bit on that, folks think it's cool, right? They may follow me, they may see my posts and my videos, and it's very motivating, right? But I can just imagine being with a motivational speaker all the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time you want to hear the words of motivation,
of course,
right? And I had to understand that because she'd be venting, right? How she feels and what happened, and in that moment, she's carrying trauma or carrying hatred or self-doubt or worry or whatever it is, right? And she just wants a friend to listen and just to be able to vent with no judgment. And then me being the motivational speaker, then sometimes I would respond with, do you hear yourself? Those words are not positive. You need to change your vocabulary. That's why you're in this mess. What you should do is stand tall. And she's like, yo, shut up, bro. Like, yo. So to her, I would be dismissive of how she feels. And in my mind, I would be like, why is she upset? She has a man who supports her and wants her to win. You know what I mean? So it's in relationships, it's learning, right? It's learning your partner, and just because it sounds good in your head, right? The execution of it may not really be executing. So I wanted to say that. And then on a serious note, what has she taught me? She's taught me several things. One of is how to be a better parent.
Wow.
How to listen.
Wow.
How to listen more, because growing up with Caribbean parents, right, we're taught as a child, you are usually wrong.
That's
right?
true.
And if you fix them out to whatever, I mean, they get boxed or whatever. So, I'm not saying my parents were mean or like abusive or whatever. I'm just saying, like, as a child, you didn't really have a whole lot to say.
Right.
You were supposed to stay in your lane as a child, right? And seeing how she is, sometimes the kids will do something, and my initial reaction is like, all right, we got to show them who's boss, trying to put them in their place. Let's go. And I'll be about to, right? And she'll respond to them, and it soothes them, it relaxes them, and she allows them to speak and makes them feel like their concerns are important. And sometimes I just watch her and I'm like, hmm, in this moment, that's what they needed. In this moment, that's what he needed, or that's what she needed. And it's not always putting the foot down like, I'm the parent, you're the child. What I say goes. You don't, so it's just that balance again, where kids need both. Right? Kids need to be put in their place sometimes. This is true. But also kids need a safe space. So seeing her in action has allowed me to grow.
Wow.
As a better dad.
It's powerful.
That made me really emotional.
Me too. I ain't got no kids. Over here, like getting all misty eyed with that. So I think it's a perfect time to kind of wrap up. And I know, guys, you want us to keep going, but people got work in the morning. They got kids they got to put to bed.
Oh no, they're already in bed.
I bet your kids are like, nah.
No, they're already in bed. We spelled that away one step. Yes.
Hey, that's what's up. I mean, get your kids bed early. But in closing, I kind of want to end here. And please, you guys can answer this together. I think this is like the perfect question to do that. But any advice for couples, right? Like you guys pretty much just said why, each one of you make your partner or better than what's better about your partner than you and what your partner has taught you. But just as an overarching statement, if you will, or feeling, what advice do you have for couples today? I think, we can see what it was then and what it is now, for better or worse. But it's tough times out here, and you're seeing a lot more people that you thought would be together for a while. They're not. And look, everybody has their reasons, and I'm not saying that no matter what, you should be the person. No, if you feel like it's not the right person for you or you're going through, please get out of it, But what advice would you give couples that, maybe are going through a little bit of a rough patch right now and be like, this is how you keep it together or hold it down as best as you could?
You want to go first?
Me? Sure. Two things. So you may want to write this down. First one is be committed to healing. And the second one is seek clarity. Those two, because if you're committed to your healing, you're going to undergo the times that are uncomfortable, right? And you understand that it's necessary for you to grow. It's necessary for you to go through the hard times. And if as you're healing and you're going through the hard times within yourself, then it only makes sense that with another person, there too are going to be ups and downs and hard times, right? So So just continue to heal, because many times we get into arguments and we get into fights and we blame the other person and we're looking at things that we think are right, not really realizing that those are just our perspectives. It may not actually be facts, and that person may not actually be wrong.
Yeah.
They're just different.
Yeah.
Right. So so commit to your healing, and then also seek clarity, because whatever you believe, whether it's Jah, Rastafari, Jesus Christ, Jehovah, Muhammad, Allah, the universe, they will speak to you. And it's up to you to listen. So before you make certain moves, they'll speak to you. You'll hear instructions, but it's up to us to find the time to listen. They're not going to yell or to beat us over the head. You know what I mean? So sometimes I lose myself, and then I realize I haven't sat down and actually sought clarity, in like a week or two. No wonder things are kind of within myself, and then things with she and I may be kind of we're not seeking clarity. You know what I mean? So for me, those two: commit to your healing and seek clarity.
Love that. Tamiko.
I would say, I think I said this the other day. Where was it? I think it was on Greg's Live. No lie. I think it actually was on Greg's Live. I said that when you seek your truth, others find their way to their truth. Yeah. So it goes in line with what Blaze was saying with knowing yourself, healing with yourself, and if you're getting triggered, finding out what that is. And sometimes it may look like, you know what? And Blaze would agree with this. He may say to me, do you know what? I need 2 days in a hotel by myself. I just need to, again, seek clarity. I need to whatever. That's not him rejecting me or rejecting the relationship, and it's not no big drop. Go. Whatever it is you need to do, that's fine, because I know that when he comes back, it's going to be a different thing altogether.
Wow.
Right? So it's not surface. I know that he is committed to healing. I'm not sitting there worried because go do whatever. And it's the same thing for me. If I need to go, I will go. If I need to, it could be anything that's affecting our relationship, but it's not directly between he and I.
Right.
It could be a client I'm dealing with. It could be whatever that's now affecting the relationship. So I have to acknowledge that, know that, and be able to express to him and know that I've got a safe space in him to say, do you know what? I just need to take a second. Or maybe it is something with he and I. Let me take a second, and then we can sit there and again have a mature conversation about it. Or I come back and I'm like, sorry, I was completely tripping for no reason. Whatever it may be. Yeah. So I'll definitely say, seeking truth, which goes in line with what he was saying. And the second thing is, don't wear big clothes.
I was unexpected. Yo, if that's a way to end the pod, yo.
Yeah.
Man, let me get my composure. Man, you caught me off guard with that. You heard it here first, y'all. Wow. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for your candor.
Really quick. I just want to, even though it's your podcast and all that, what I mean, for episode 89 and all that. But so what Tamiko said, very true, because there are women, and I've experienced, there are women where I can't say, listen, I need to go to a hotel for a day or two. They'd be like, absolutely not. Who's the chick? Who you going with? Let me see the receipt. And it's just like, yo, not every man, you know what I'm saying, who not every man is gonna be like your ex. You know what I mean? So just being able to be in a mature relationship. And same with her. Just the other day, she left town and she was in a hotel and I'm not, oh well, like what does she do? So it's just trust.
Yeah.
And we both know each other to where we both know we're both committed to healing. So we get it. And we're kind of old too because we don't even drink and we don't even do all the party. So what trouble could we really, like do? But it's true. You trust is just so crucial. You have to allow space for your partner to heal, and sometimes they can't heal with you in the house. Ooh. And if I'm on a trip for a day or two, or she's on a trip for a day or two, um, balance, meaning if she's on a trip, that doesn't mean for 2, 3 days we don't speak at all. There's still some, hey, I'm here safe, or, whatever. Or, man, I just went to the beach this morning, had an amazing meditation. I felt all these things. I saw all these things. I got a vision. Oh, word? You know what I mean? So there is communication, but there's a balance because it's not also, well, I need time to heal, but then we're on the phone for 5 hours. What's the point of you going out of town? You know what I mean? So it's still giving that partner space to heal. So, yeah.
I love that. And I think what I get from that is there just has to be an understanding of respect, trust. But you guys have gotten to that point where that works for you, right? And so this is advice that you're giving other couples. What I will say is, people out there, don't just go and be like, yo, I was in the Blazer, Tamiko. I'm gonna be out, man. I'm gonna go to Charlotte this weekend
for a whole week.
The whole week, and just you
Bike
take
week.
Care, you know what I'm saying? Take care of the kids' expenses. I'm gonna go to. There's a way of maybe communicating that's what you want to do, right? But I'd highly suggest you don't just get up and go, right? Like
no, and I think that you have to. I think a lot. We're only, by the way, we're only just about to be 2 years in. It seems like a lot longer. And I mean that in a good way. It seems like a lot longer, but we're just about 2 years in. So, there are those that have been married for 10, 15, 30, whatever years, right? Kudos to you lot. I think though, a lot of times when people first get together, they've got this facade up, this kind of like best foot forward situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I get that to a certain extent. But you can't be playing the charade for so long. So you're almost kind of trying to catfish that person and say, oh, no, I'm really this You're not. And so that can send your relationship going left as well. They think they've got this person and they don't really. Now, that's different from you growing into somebody else, right? Or, from your growth in your life. That's a completely different thing altogether. And even I know couples that have grown apart and mutually just said, you know what, we're going in two different directions, and that's very healthy. They're not trying to force anything, but really, again, learning yourself, learning your partner too, is super important. And again, like you said, having that trust is. So I would say, really digging deep in yourself first, because it's pointless you, like Blaze was saying, pointing fingers and you've done this and you did. Okay, all right, but what are you doing though? What are you doing? Because I'm pretty sure you're not perfect.
Wow.
Close.
So guys, thank you so much for joining us. Because I feel like this could, but no, as I was saying before, thank you so much for your candor and your honesty. I think this is something that, it's good to hear a perspective, right? And from a couple, but you guys are individualistic. And I think that's what I got from it. It's like you allow your partner to do them however that is, but you come together as one. to make it happen, right? As a strong couple. And so, what better day? I know you guys are not fans of Valentine's Day, but to kind of talk about this and to just spread, a little bit of love and awareness and truth, to maybe help somebody or couples in this situation. So, with that said, thank you so much for allowing me to be on this platform, Mr. Blaze Daktari. I enjoyed myself here, and maybe down the road I'll be on the other side of this, and you me, but not significant. You know what I'm saying? And that
I'll be praying for you, Brandon. I'll
thank
be
you.
praying for you.
I
You're welcome.
love that. Don't shake your head, man.
I'm gonna burn some sage.
Your evaluation tomorrow.
I quit. You ain't paying me. I quit. This has been episode 89, Relationships, Masculine versus Feminine Energy. One love, y'all.
Peace. And hair grease, because the back of your neck kind of
Ashy.
Yeah.
Is this the outro? Like that? Like
it needs some work.
How do you end this thing, man?
And then yeah.
Like, how do you is there like a button?
What, for him? For him or the podcast? Because I've looked for the button for him. There is no button on him. There is no button. I've looked.
Is this the bloopers part now? Like,
this was episode 89 of the Blaze the Line podcast. The video will be available. The replay will be available on the YouTube on the Blaze the Line podcast channel. The audio will be available for streaming, rather, on all major streaming platforms from your Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Breaker, and such in the next 24 hours. Thank you all again for listening to our craziness. Hope you all got some gems and just got some insights, some direction, and some laughs as well in the process. Be did amazing. As always, you're welcome back anytime. Just not this month. Anytime. And again, thank you, Queen, for not roasting me. You know what I mean? Keeping it professional on my podcast. I mean, on our. Okay.
oops.
Right. As I always say.
Say it quickly.
Peace and love.